Yeah, it's hard getting that balance right, and then I'm too slow, and I'm like stressing about if I'm going to meet my next payments, or it's totally the opposite. I'm too busy, and my family's not getting the time that they need and want. Can kind of like manage that though, because I'm just upstairs.
Yeah.
At the same time, doing the night shift every night can be a bit taxing.
Jeremy, thanks for coming on the podcast, man.
Awesome, thank you for having me.
I appreciate it. I'm just looking at that beautiful shirt of yours with that beautiful boat on there. That your Nina? That's the old man's boat, is it?
Yeah. No, we try and get out as much as we can, and a bit of time on the water's always good.
Yeah. You're into a bit of outdoor stuff, eh? A bit of fishing, a bit of hunting, and all that sort of thing.
Yeah, no, I love it. Bit of nature fix whenever I can get it.
How often do you get out, like fishing?
I think what I say, and my wife will probably say way more, but kind of about once a month, I try and go for a fish and go for a hunt.
Yeah.
Every couple of weeks or so.
I think it's so good for you, eh? Like, I don't have enough things like that in my life at the moment. I'm always like self-reflecting here. Dan's laughing. But like, dude, that gets you away. You kind of need that recharge, eh? Just kind of get back to that, like, tribal element, man element, just getting out there, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Kill something, catch something, eat, chuck something on the fire.
I think I'm also starting to enjoy that sort of thing with our son as well. So you do lose a bit of the
getting away.
Definitely putting meat on the plate, and it's just a camping adventure, but it's the same vibe. Eh?
Yeah, that's cool. Like the coolest part of being a parent is like almost revealing to your children like new things that they didn't know, new adventures, right?
Yeah.
So tell me about the hunting quickly. Like, I want to know because I want to get into hunting, but you don't have any friends that hunt. How did you get into it? Because you got into it a bit later, eh?
Yeah, totally. I must have been late teens, early 20s when I started getting into the bigger game hunting. We were always kind of shooting rabbits around my old man's orchards and the farms and that sort of thing. But yeah, I had some friends who live and breathe it, and that was my introduction, my gateway is through them. So I still do quite a bit, or most of my hunting I do is still with those original guys. So.
Oh, cool. Yeah. What do you guys shoot? What sort of guns you
got? I've got as in like the calibers, or
yeah.
So
no, I don't know as in what. I don't know. Just what sort of guns you got?
Yeah, I'm not really a gun guy, but I've got a 7mm 08.
Oh, cool. Is that a powerful one?
Yeah, I'd say for me. Yeah.
And what do you shoot with
get
those?
Bigger, but
what do you shoot like with that?
Deer, goats, pigs, pretty much.
Pig hunting's quite big in New Zealand, eh?
Yeah, that's a thrill.
Yeah.
Mm.
Which one do you guys go normally? What's your favourite, like the pigs, or you like more of deer hunting?
Bit of both, eh?
Yeah.
Kind of 50-50.
Yeah.
With friends who have dogs, and if it's just me, then it's I don't have hunting or working dogs, so it's just deer and whatever you can see. Yeah.
So how long do you go out for? Like, how does it work? Paint the picture for me.
These days it would be an early Friday knock and go for the weekend and back kind of midday Sunday.
And you'd be hiking around looking for deer, or?
Yeah. You kind of focusing your mornings and evenings and a bit of a kip in the middle of the day.
Oh yeah.
Downtown for a coffee and yeah.
I must say, like, I did go for a hunt once. We had like one gun. It was just me and my mate. Neither of us knew what we were doing. It was probably a good thing we only had one gun and stuck together, right? But we were pretty much just walking around forever, and we were looking for like seeker deer. I think they're kind of hard to find, But then we were walking around and we were like just sat down, had a little snack, and we both just like fell. We were like under the tree. We both just fell asleep, and we're like,
yeah, that's it. Welcome to my life.
That's it in a nutshell.
And my passion for hunting.
I was even looking at the tree, and the sunlight was sort of beaming through, and then I remember thinking, oh, this is kind of nice. The next minute, I was just like out, You know what I mean? And then like 2 hours later, I feel like I woke up and I'm like, what happened?
Yeah,
Where are we?
ready to go.
I was like, we probably like deer like walking over us like while we were sleeping. And yeah, we didn't catch anything in that 2 days that we were out there. But that's cool, man. I think that's really cool. And the fishing side's really good too. Obviously, New Zealand's got like amazing fishing and like
so much coast.
Yeah. What do you guys catch out there? Is it just like snapper and
everything really?
Yeah.
I do a bit or have done. I don't do as much now, but spearfishing as well. So,
cool.
Snapper, kingfish.
Yeah.
Craze.
And you guys never, because I mean, I've got friends that spearfish and it's never worry about sharks coming. And once you hit that blood, the sharks coming and trying to fight you for the fish.
Yeah, I think it's always on your mind, but you're in their world.
Yeah.
There's a bit of respect that has to go, from you to them.
And do you see them come out from time to time?
Yeah, you see them all the time, eh?
Yeah.
Yeah, they're all good.
But they're not there for you, right? They're more there for the fish. So
they're just there to find a feed. And yeah, I've had some close encounters with sharks in the Hauraki, but they're always after your fish. And I haven't had a shark show aggression to me. So
yeah.
After
the fish, not your foot or anything like that.
Yeah, hopefully. Yeah.
So I mean, you're obviously you're an amazing architect. We want to talk a bit about the work you've done and how you sort of got into it. But like, you obviously grew up down there, Papamoa. Was that hometown?
Yeah. I grew up in Papamoa. So my mum and dad split quite early. Mum's in Papamoa, dad's in Te Puke, which is kind of 15, 20 minutes away.
Yeah.
And we kind of lived between me and my brother lived between the two. Went to Papamoa Primary School, Te Puke Intermediate, and then Tauranga Boys for high school.
Oh, okay. And how old were you when your parents split? Young,
yeah. I must have been 2.
Right. Okay.
Ish, around then.
Yeah. Yeah, my parents split when I was 5. I kind of know, like, so there's no world that exists really where they're together. So it'd be weird if they were together.
Normal,
yeah. It's like the opposite, right? If you're like they were together, it'd be super weird, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so what did your dad do? What did your mum do at that time? I assume your mum had to she become like a real estate agent or something. That's what all the.
No, mum's always had her own business. She's a optometrist.
Oh, cool.
And dad grows kiwi fruit
for like one of the big companies, or is it how does that, or for himself and then sells it off?
Yeah,
the big guys.
Yeah,
I heard that the kiwi fruit seed is like owned privately. Is that true? Like a private company owns the rights to.
There's
kiwi
licensing for gold kiwi fruit,
right?
Yeah, it's fairly controlled.
Yeah, that's what I've heard.
Yeah,
I've heard that they're like the main company has like 90% of it. And then because you can't have a monopoly, they passed on the rights to like some other smaller enterprise for like the rest or something, and then they still control it.
It's out of my knowledge. So
it's like pointless conversation. Okay, so you kind of grew up, parents split. Obviously, your mum had her business. So what was your like young? Who was young Jeremy back then? Were you like a goth or a jock or a hippie or a artist?
We grew up on the beach in Papamoa, me and my younger brother. So that was our life. We would come home from school, look out the window. If there was surf, we'd go surfing. And
cool.
And now when we were young, if there's no surf, you'd just go and dig a hole or something, Just be boys.
Throw some rocks or something.
Yeah.
Were you into skating?
A little bit. We didn't have a skate park until maybe like early high school.
Right.
We got the first skate park there.
Right. So you just sort of
skated a bit, but I was never overly good at it. So
yeah. I mean, when you're real little, you just try to like ollie over a stick or something like that. You don't really need like that much. You need a half pipe or anything, when you're real little.
Yeah. Well, in early days in Papamoa, we didn't have any footpaths or anything like that, so there's hardly anywhere to skate. So.
Just the main road, and it's like it's probably not ideal. This episode is brought to you by Forte, specialist in refined timber surfaces for inside and out. From elegant flooring and paneling to durable cladding and decking, Forte delivers unparalleled performance where it matters most. Their products are crafted to elevate every space, combining natural beauty with technical precision and enduring design with innovation. Discover more at forte.co.nz. And how would your friends have like described you as a young kid? What was your vibe, demeanor?
I don't know. I just kind of, having fun and getting amongst it. Bit of sport here and there, and enjoyed the social side of things as well. Well, I guess not everyone, but as you do.
Yeah. Did you ever? No, I'm just asking these questions because I'm always kind of interested whether people kind of have did you have a bit of an inkling towards like an artistic side, or like did you feel like you like art, like and creating things and stuff from a young age?
Yeah. I probably had equal, what's the right word, interest and ability in art, and if I worked for it, worked hard at it, maths and science as well. So they kind of went through till the end of high school side by side, the arts and the sciences.
Cool. Okay, that's handy. Having a bit of both sides of the brain working well.
Yeah, I had to push for one side, and the art side came a bit easier.
Yeah. And what did you do? Did you do anything in high school, like art? Did you do art class or woodwork or any of that sort of stuff?
Art class. Didn't kind of dive into the graphic design too much. It was more the creative arts.
Yeah.
And what else did I do? Well, we're going back here. Was it one of the maths courses I saw through, and maybe physics, and
Right.
I can't really remember high school, but
some of those interesting ones. I also did the sciences and stuff against my will. But anyway, so at which point did you start to did you know what you wanted to do when you were at high school? Did you have a bit of an idea?
Kind of. I was always good at graphics, and found that easy. I think there's probably some gentle guidance, if you want to put it that way, from my old lady as well, to keep up the sciences and that sort of thing.
Yeah.
And architecture was kind of something that took in all of those aspects, the graphics, the art. There's a bit of maths and science in there. So I never assumed that's where I'd end up, but it was pretty clear that's where I would and did.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Were you into art, and then architecture was a sort of that's a reasonable
combo?
It's kind of almost like that's the mature decision to make. If you want to get into if you like art, then maybe do architecture, because that's literally the only element where you're going to make any money. It's kind of like how the boomers would probably think, right?
Yeah, I think there's a bit of that. But I also I always enjoyed tattooing or putting things together, or the aspect of using my hands. Not that you'd really do that in architecture as much as being a builder, but I always had that interest as well, and that was quite a good avenue to group everything together and see how it goes, and it was ideal.
Yeah. So you went and studied. What did you study to get to architecture?
Yeah, so out of uni, out of high school, I went straight to uni, to Auckland Uni.
Okay.
And then did 5 years there.
Is that like a pure architecture degree, or does it start from
it is. So
art,
there's a 3-year Bachelor of Architectural Studies, and then a 2-year MArch Prof, Master of Architectural Professional. And at that point, you're an architectural graduate.
Okay.
So you then have to work, get your experience before you can become a registered architect.
Yeah, and that's a bit of a process, right? So who did you go work for when you left uni?
Straight out of uni, Coco's Cantina, washing dishes.
Love it.
It was fun times. Literally, it was good times. And that was while I was job hunting. So I graduated in 2010, which was kind of a slow-ish time to be job hunting, particularly for grads anyway, in the architectural profession. So it probably took me 6 months ish to land a job, and I got a job with Ignite Architects.
Cool.
So
It's a good firm.
big commercial, and spent probably 3 years with them working on projects or concept projects in China and the domestic and international airport in Auckland.
Yeah, they do like a kind of a wide range of stuff, right? Like a lot of commercial stuff, and then they did some like apartments back when apartments was popping, and a bit of everything.
Schools and
yeah.
So I kind of landed with my mentor, or the guy I was working under. He had the China jobs and the airports. So
Cool.
yeah.
Yeah, I worked with him like before this life, I used to be in commercial real estate, and I worked for Colliers, and we used to have a couple of architects at Ignite would like help us like send some like concept plans on what a development could look like, and kind of use that to sell down the land and things like that. So I always remember they were pretty like good to work with, pretty collaborative. That's pretty cool. Okay, so you worked there, and then how long did it take you then to go out on your own? You kind of hop around a bit more, or did you go on your own?
Yeah, there's another piece in the puzzle there. So I worked for Ignite for about 3-ish years. So my timeline is not reliable. And then I'd kind of been in touch with Mike Hartley who's now got Lloyd Hartley Architects. Been in touch with him a bit, met him at or bumped into him again at one of the Resine parties back in the day. They went off.
The Resine parties were popping?
They were good.
Gotta go to those paint parties. And just like, right.
Yeah.
Okay.
And we're, probably one of the last there, and got chatting, and he told me that they'd just started their own company, Lloyd Hartley Architects, and were thinking about taking someone on. And over a glass of whiskey at the end of the night, I was like, take me. Not job hunting at all, but seeing as there's a position there, I'll take it.
Yeah.
And then had a email from Mike a few days later, and like, yeah, we're into it. Let's do it.
That's awesome.
Started work, and his business partner Ben started work in his lounge for the first few weeks before they got an office sorted, and yeah, it was fun.
Rest is history.
It is, yeah. So I was with Lloyd Hartley for probably like 5, 6, 7 years or so, during which time I got registered kind of near the end of my session there.
That's cool. So a little lesson to be learned there, right? Always stay right to the end.
Yeah, it's hard work now, though.
There has been, I know there's people that say that no good things happen, after 12 o'clock, but sometimes good things can happen over a
Proof is in the pudding.
Yeah. So it can go both ways, know. But that's an amazing firm as well. So like you've kind of gone, and they probably more in line with the residential side, right? That you're sort of moving towards.
Well, I hadn't done any residential until working with them, and I know like my first couple of drawing sets were still very commercial based, and it took a while to kind of readjust and realign my expectations and outputs with residential. But yeah, they pretty much taught me everything I know to kind of kick on.
What's the biggest sort of thing that you've taken away, like working with those guys?
I don't know. It's pretty hard to say the biggest thing when most of what I now use in practice comes from them.
Yeah.
Like I've always been a hard worker, but enjoying the social side of life as well. And that was quite good working with them, because they're similar. You got to work and you worked, and when you finished, you finished. And
so what is it like? They didn't like what architecture wasn't like their identity, or they didn't like it wasn't like everything. They kind of like worked hard, play hard, or is it like?
Yeah,
is that what you mean?
Worked hard, play hard, but there was also I don't know. Mike had when I was there, his kids. I think was there 2. You might have had 2 kids, or they might have had 2 kids while I was working with them, and it was kind of that family vibe as well, which it took me a while to realise, but it's like, hey, that's pretty important for your workplace.
Yeah.
they do exist together. So they have to they have to work next to each other, those two aspects of life.
So they kind of
Yeah.
had a healthy balance almost that you kind of now appreciate.
Yeah, or just, I don't know, is the balance ever healthy?
Yeah, I don't know.
I don't, yeah. I think
I don't know.
just being able to combine the two successfully.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. That's a better way of putting it. And so they started sort of working their way up, and they do amazing projects, right? Are they, because I know architects are a lot of times, not always, but sometimes an architect's either like more like a design based, and then other architects are more like the technical drawings and the detail, you know. Were those guys sort of complement each other? Were they more design or more?
No, they're both good at both.
They got it both.
Yeah.
Oh, amazing.
Yeah,
And how
which
about
was
you?
cool. So as a younger guy wanting to learn the ropes, I had two very competent mentors there that I just kind of lapped everything up.
Yeah.
Yeah, and so my practice is pretty well modeled on what they were doing, design and documentation and everything. You know, you do it all, do it well.
Where do you kind of like, because that's what I want to know, is that where do you get your like inspiration? And it's like the worst question ever, right? Because it's like, where do you get your ideas from? It's like the worst question. But like, where do you sort of look when you in terms of your style, in terms of like, because it's not a straight line math equation, right? Like, so when you kind of create a design, where does that come from? Does that come from a lot from what you've learned from them, or inspiration from other elements or other architects or art or things outside of architecture? Where do you get your ideas from?
Yeah, I don't necessarily default to anything for ideas. It's kind of often, yeah, the clients probably start that pathway with what they want, what they like the look of, and I would try and deliver on that. But then we've recently my wife and I have recently finished our own home, and that was a journey in intuitive design. Like, there was no brief or material preferences. It was what we loved, and that really helped me as an architect explore kind of unconventional, just what I enjoy, what I love, what makes me feel good when I look at it.
Yeah.
So that was quite fun. But yeah, I don't even know if I've answered your question.
Yeah, no, it's good. I like that, because do you think do architects normally, or have you in the past more kind of pushed against that a little bit? Because it's like it's got to fit in within
Pushed
these
against
lines.
what, sorry?
Pushing against like a client coming to you and saying, "I like this, and this, and like I want this is what I want." But then from an architecture point of view, you might think that, oh yeah, that doesn't really fit within the lines of what we're looking. You know, that could be like a modernism versus like, you know, mid-century or whatever, right? So do you kind of always try to stay within that line, and do you push back a bit, or is it?
Yeah, no, I try and stay in the line, because I've got, my practice has only existed for 5 years, and I don't have people coming to me saying, do me a house with no brief. Like, they've always got a brief, and to keep the client happy, you're responding to that brief. But then you also have to find some joy in a project, and that's where it's not a pushback, but it's just kind of, oh, how about this?
Yeah.
Or this could be cool. This is what you asked for, but I've done this other option, which I think is quite fun, playful, could be cool to take a look at. And often, there is, if that one wasn't chosen, there might be aspects of it that is chosen, brought back to the conventional option, and it still brings a bit of joy into any project that way. So yeah,
because like they come to an architect, right? There's like a creative side that they come for, right? Yeah, they'll just go to a drafty or something if they just want, I want this, and this is the floor plan or whatever, right? So they do come to you for that creative input. And so it's not, they don't come to you like you go to a surgeon. You don't want your surgeon to be creative, right?
Yeah. Do you want another arm?
You don't want your surgeon to be like, today I might try do it this way. You want them to do it like, stick within, exactly how you were taught. Don't be creative, just, but then when someone comes to an architect, kind of the opposite. They don't not quite the opposite, but like they want you to be creative. They want you to come up with something that's like take the idea and take it to the next level. So, there's that kind of part is probably important, right?
Yeah. I think even if I do answer their brief and their aesthetic brief to exactly what they want, I'll always try and pick something in a project that will bring me joy out of it.
Yeah.
The creative joy. One project I did a while back, we ended up getting some spec builders to build it. So it was a budget at the lower end of the market. So there wasn't a budget to go crazy and get super creative. But one of the things that, one of the wins for me was quite a cool fence.
Yeah.
And it was like something as small as that done right at the end of the project that I'm like, yeah, cool project overall because of that fence.
Yeah. That's cool because it's probably like a frontage thing and like it probably made it elevated the whole thing.
Yeah, probably the cheapest part of the house. And
Yeah. So how do you kind of like work in with the hardest thing now with clients and building, especially the increased cost of materials and building in general, right? Just the delays and the red tape and all that sort of stuff. More often than not, people's vision for their home is going to be bigger than what their wallet will allow for. And so most architectural drawings are drawn over budget generally. I think there's some stat that came out. I think in Australia they said like over 85% of architectural drawings never get built. And so how do you kind of work, or how have you kind of trying to figure this out, like trying to work in with a client to get their plans somewhat drawn to budget?
Yeah, good question. It's definitely one that is constantly evolving. I'll do some square meter rates early on, and often that can be the shock that's needed to say yay or nay right at the start before everyone's invested time and money into drawings, let alone council fees and other consultant fees.
So that's sort of like just a quick, like they'll say, this is kind of what I'm thinking, this sort of spec, and you'll just sort of throw out like a range to kind of like test.
Broad brush, high level.
Yeah.
And then at the end of a concept, we'll get a QS in. And that's another make or break. And if it breaks, it's also a chance where we can adjust and recalibrate the brief or the budget and carry on.
It's quite good. So then how accurate is that normally? Like if you look at what your QS is, if you look at your last like 5 projects or whatever, right? And you just roughly, and you kind of see where the QS is like priced it up versus where it ended up. Is that
overall pretty good?
Yeah.
And
outside of like personal variations or things they wanted to change or whatever, obviously. But
it's kind of plus 5-10% depending on the size of the job as well.
Yeah. Oh, that's good. So before you even go to detailed drawings, you get the QS to draw it up. To price it up. Yeah. And then is that like a QS that works kind of under you, or is it like a third party? You recommend a couple of QSs or something, or a QS they can use?
Third party.
Yeah, that's good.
If there is a builder involved, obviously get them in early on as well.
Yeah.
But I'm finding more and more that builders don't really, well, the ones I've been working with aren't, they're not pricing professionals, historically anyway. They're managing jobs and building, whereas a QS is a pricing professional.
Yeah.
So often some of the builders that I'm working with recently prefer the QS to be brought in at that stage as well.
Yeah.
Ideally, that QS then works with the builder throughout the detailed design to keep that pricing current.
Yeah.
and then kind of ready to roll as soon as you've got a consent.
What benefit, or is there a benefit of having the builder come in early? I'm just kind of thinking top of mind. Because I found with builders is that like they're really practical, right? That's kind of what they do, and they can sometimes come with great solutions around, especially like the engineering side. Sometimes an engineer has never been on site, sort of sends their plan through like remotely, and sometimes things can be over-engineered. I don't know if you found that. And then obviously like material choices or even like foundations, like, do you find that it's beneficial sometimes for builders to get involved earlier to be able to kind of like provide some solutions around those elements I just mentioned, or not really?
Yeah, no, definitely. Like if a builder's involved, I'll keep them involved through the whole thing and try and keep the conversation going.
Yeah.
I've found often a lot of what I am putting forward is what they would do. So
Yeah.
maybe that's just because I align with like-minded builders for a lot of my projects.
Yeah.
We work well together, and probably familiar with similar materials and methodologies.
Yeah. And then obviously working on experience of previous projects, and you kind of have a feel of what's going to work and what's not going to work. And you probably have that practical element within yourself anyway as well. So that's kind of good. So do you have like a particular set of builders that you work with consistently, or how does that work?
Yep. Depending on where the project is. Yeah.
What's the biggest friction for an architect to like use a new builder they've never used before? Like what are the
I don't know. Like I kind of turn up to site or talk to a new builder with no friction there. It's kind of
what's the anxiety around that though? Like, because what can they kind of like? What's the red flags?
As far as me choosing a builder, or
so you kind of come on site. This is a potential builder. What are the red flags that pop up sometimes that you notice straight away, and how a builder presents themselves, or what they say, or how they operate in those initial stages?
I honestly don't know. Like by the time I bumped the mic. By the time I've met a builder, I've probably been recommended to me. I've made some phone calls, seen their work.
Yeah.
And we were talking about this earlier. There's so many different preferences in construction contracts and how they price jobs. So many different projects. Some projects are suitable for, from my point of view, some projects are more suitable for some builders, and you kind of try and match the project with a builder that you think's good. And I don't know if I'd look at a builder and see a red flag, because you're kind of judging the book by its cover, right?
Yeah.
How do you know?
Yeah.
And I know me personally, like I could turn up to a job site in jandals and stubbies, and that's the reality of it. And I'd say a lot of people would look at me there as an architect doing $2 or $3, $4 million houses, and be like, who is he? Yeah. So that's your architect.
Kind of like that.
Is that a red flag? I'd like to think not.
No, I kind of like that. I mean, I don't even mean in appearance. I just mean more like in a the way that they may be approaching the project. But from the other angle, what are some of the examples of builders that you've worked with that do things well? Like, what do they do well that kind of makes you kind of think, yeah, this is like a good builder because of why?
Yeah, circling back to the red flags, if there's not that teamwork attitude, or if they're already saying things are too hard, that's definitely a red flag for me. I'm like, it's not too hard, so we can do it.
Yeah,
we can definitely do it.
Yeah, so that sort of attitude, I know we won't be able to do that. I kind of like that sort of like not collaborative.
Yeah, and I think that's hopefully fairly old school thought now, and I've kind of surrounded myself with trades in Papamoa or Tauranga area that are like-minded. So if you start a project with one of the guys or girls that I've worked with before, you can do it. It's going to go well, because if they can't do it, it's like, get on the phone, call me, we'll figure it out. And that's how we've been working for
Yeah.
Since I started my practice. Probably same with Mike and Ben too before that. It's like, get on the phone, we'll figure it out. It's okay.
So like that collaboration piece is super important. What are some other attributes that a builder can show that you kind of like, yeah, this is a good builder to work with, good builder in general?
I really like the communication. So, and I know it's hard for a lot of builders because you're on site with your phone, but if you're on top of your emails, being prompt with that sort of thing, I appreciate that personally.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So like more like the professional administrative side needs to run smoothly as well.
Yeah. Which is hard if you're in a tool belt half the day and then driving around sites the other half. It's not easy, but
yeah.
A quick shout out to Forte supporting today's episode. They work across flooring, wall surfaces, exteriors, and more. But what sets them apart is how their timber performs over time. Forte is trusted by architects, designers, and builders, not just for their materials, but for the way they support projects from vision to completion. It's about enriching connections and creating something built to last. Learn more at forte.co.nz.
What can this is always interesting as well, like what can a builder do? You have to think about it to get on your radar and for you to go, yeah, this is a good option.
Yeah, I get quite a few cold calls, emails from builders wanting to meet up, have a beer and a coffee, and that's a good way.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I'm just a one-man band and my project turnover is quite small because of that. So probably the reality is that a lot of the guys that do reach out to me, because I have such a low project turnover, I won't contact for some time.
Yeah.
And yeah, talking about that earlier too, is that a lot of my jobs do come from builders that I've worked with before who have enjoyed working with me due to me being chill. I'm kind of fair but firm with a lot of my contracts and projects, and I think a lot of guys like that because it's clear. And then I'll pick up the phone when it calls. If they have a question on site, that's like your first priority is to get that back to them so they can keep going.
Yeah.
And the builders have enjoyed that and sent work my way as well. So
yeah. So it's kind of reciprocal and like they send you work and you might think of them when opportunities come up. But I think that sometimes builders like send a bunch of cold emails to architects like asking for work. That's probably not the right way to go about it. Just kind of like cold email. Hey, if you got something coming up, let me know. I'm happy to quote. Is that like a good way, or is it better to go for the coffee approach?
Well, it's better than nothing, though, right?
Yeah, yeah. But are you gonna read that and go, yeah, this is a good option for me in the future?
Oh, that person who buys me a beer or a coffee is definitely going to be a step up the ladder compared to the cold email. Yeah.
Yeah. How much time do you spend on like Instagram and LinkedIn or whatever? Like how much time do you like look at sort of what builders are up to and things like that?
A bit, not heaps.
Yeah, but you'll notice if a builder's putting some stuff out, working on some projects in your area, like it'll be a data point.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We got the industry in towing is pretty tight. Everyone knows everyone, and it's you kind of know what's going on.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. So in terms of your practice firm, what do you call it? Practice firm? What do you call it? Architecture company?
What do I call it? Both.
Both.
I don't know.
Yeah.
So sometimes I just say
studio.
Sometimes I just say I work in construction.
Yeah.
Depending on who I'm hanging out with, if I want to be one of the boys. I work in construction.
You're like, hammer hand. And so it's just you? Do you have anyone that helps you, or is it just you do everything from A to Z?
Yeah, just me. I have an accountant who does my GST and end of years, but apart from that, it's me.
And you work from home? You work from an office?
Yeah, I work from home in our spare room. So our spare room is my office and samples room, and my desk is literally a piece of plywood across the wardrobe.
Love
and
it.
That's the engine house. Yeah.
Yeah. So the magic happens.
Yeah. If I'm there, I'm going hard, working. Yeah.
And okay, I kind of like that, because I think a lot, especially now with the market's kind of shifting, a lot of people are consolidating. And I've even talked to a lot of builders as well and some architects, and they kind of like, well, it's never fun, right, when you have to contract and stuff like that. But a lot of people have found like a slight bit of joy in that, like a bit of a silver lining in terms of being able to just like, yeah, let's just cut some overheads and let's just like simplify things a little bit and make sure the things that we are doing, we're doing better, and just not, because sometimes it can become a complicated beast, right? If you have like a bunch of staff, big office and things like that. So I think it's a good way to go. I think at the moment, especially, like, it's a good way to go. It's just you. The
Yeah.
money you make is the money you make.
Yeah. Hardly any overheads. If I'm quiet, I'm not trying to keep someone busy.
Yeah.
I'll just go for a fish, go for a hunt, go
Love
pull
it.
some weeds in the garden.
Yeah. Because
Yeah.
it can get to a point. I mean, there's two sides. Like, obviously, it's good if you have staff. It means you can go on holiday, work still gets done, things still moving. But then on the other side as well, like, you got to feed the machine. It's like a machine. You got to feed it. You know what I mean? And sometimes you got to take on work that's not ideal to feed the machine. And so it's definitely like a pro and con. Like, you can't really choose one way or the other, right? I think it's personal preference.
Yeah.
At that point.
Yeah. The thought of keeping staff going just stresses me out way too much, eh? So it's when I started my business, Studio Brick Architects, there was always a thought that might happen. And that's kind of kept the name Studio Brick Architects.
Yeah.
And now I'm like, that's not going to happen. It's just going to be me forever now. And yeah, maybe at some point I'll do a rebrand that's a bit more reflective of that.
Yeah. Of the fact
Some
that it's
people,
Jeremy.
yeah, some people think I have, 3 or 4 people churning out some of the work. At the end of the day, it's not. It's just me on the phone and in my wardrobe.
Yeah. So how many projects do you run at a time? How many projects can you kind of run just with you?
I'm pretty well tapped out now. I've got a dozen.
Yeah.
Which is
It's a lot.
too much. Yeah. Well.
And do you manage all of them, or do you just
Yeah.
So you project manage pretty much the whole thing?
I don't know if project manager is the right word, but yeah. The design.
What's the right word? Like architect.
A project manager. Well, this is my reading of it.
Yeah.
A project manager is engaged by the clients and will kind of assign architects, consultants, and then go through
Yes, the
the
subbies.
construction and subbies as well.
Yeah.
Whereas I would manage the design phase and to a point of an approved building consent with the clients. But then once the job is on site, the builder is project managing the build.
Right. Yeah.
And I could be engaged for contract admin or observation.
Yes, that's what I was looking for.
Yeah.
Okay. You're there for observation, and you do that more often than not. Observation, contract management.
That's kind of like the traditional NZIA project. Because a lot of my jobs have come from builders, they don't need me on their jobs. As much as I'd like to be on the jobs doing that, I'm not. But I would like to be, yeah.
What do you think of the model of like and I think it's like the Architecture Institute's like recommended model, right? Of the client goes see the architect, they draw it all up, and then they go get 3 builders to quote. Do you think that's a good model?
It's a model, yeah. I don't know if I've ever run a job that has been textbook the same as another one or to that pathway, but there are so many procurement pathways nowadays that it's kind of tailored to a project. What's most appropriate for the clients and if the builder is involved early or not.
So would you be in a scenario sometimes where there's like a job and there's like 3 builders quoting for that job?
When I first started, that was how you did it. Nowadays, I don't know if I'd go to 3. It's kind of, I feel bad wasting 2 people's time.
Yeah.
If I'm going to 3, often I'd run a pre-tender. So we're like, what's your margin? What's your labour rates? Any other kind of costs that they could throw out quickly. And that way, three companies can come back to me with quite minimal input of their time and money, ideally no money, and say, this is what my fees are, or this is what my rates are, my margin, my availability. And you can kind of choose one to carry on with at that point to price the project.
And would you then recommend, like, obviously you'd have some level of recommendation to the client, right? Because the client's kind of leaning on you at that point. Would you lean on them to kind of look at more variables purely than just the margins and the costs? So obviously there's like other variables as well in terms of the builder itself.
Yeah, I think if you've already done your due diligence of who you're getting to do that, if you've worked with them before and know that it was a positive experience, sometimes the clients might have their own builders as well. So
yeah.
I would use that kind of pre-tender for my own place, because I didn't want to. Pricing a job's expensive, right? It takes heaps of time. Often there's QS fees. I didn't want to get someone that I'd want to work with in the future to go spend that money.
Yeah.
When you could just, because you'd assume the subbies are going to be pretty similar in their costs. The materials be the same.
Yeah.
So then some of the variance is the margin and the rates. And
no, that's very interesting, eh? So architects like these days to kind of get themselves out there, what do you guys do? I know like years ago it used to be all about getting published, like, yes, and I know there's companies like Bowerbird or I don't know if you've seen them around, that sort of gives you the opportunity to be published. Publish it. It's like a platform, right, where architects and publishers kind of come together. Now the world's changed a little bit with social media and people kind of more in control of their own sort of like creating some awareness for their business. But what are you doing to kind of get more out there? I know you get a lot of work through networks, but is there other things that you and some other architects do to kind of try to get some more brand awareness out there?
The socials are a big one. And then next for me will be publication, definitely. And so we've got Home or Hair magazines, probably, or Homestyle.
Yeah.
One of those three would be ideal. Pretty hard for me because I have such a small project completion turnover too of projects that I would put out there and at that level that I'm proud of.
Yeah.
There might be one a year.
Yeah.
So got to be, when it does come out, I've got to push it pretty hard. I have done some paid advertisements in our local magazine back home, Our Place magazine.
Cool.
Paid just like a 2-page write-up. I don't know if anything came out of it, but yeah.
Yeah, just to kind of, so people see, so you promote
just
yourself.
Another Studio Brick Architects text in the wild. So the more the better.
And do people like reach out to you in general, or is it always just sort of coming through a referral partner these days? Or do you have some random
I'm starting to
calling you?
get some more kind of cold calls.
Yeah, that's cool.
It was definitely my network to start with, and then I was pretty fortunate with when I set up in Tauranga. I think there was a bit of an opening for someone like me coming in. I landed in quite a good network, and then a lot of my mates who had stayed back home had already got 10, 15 years of being in that local construction industry. So there was already a network of trades that I could lean on as well.
Yeah, that's handy.
Which was good.
Yeah.
So a few jobs out of that.
Yeah, and it's like a growing area, right? Even Papamoa, it's like the next level of Tauranga, right? The next kind of growth hub. And so you've kind of found yourself there in a high growth kind of environment. So that's really good. What do architects charge these days? Like it always seems to be a massive spread, right? In terms of what's architects charge. When we talk about that? What is the general range? You know, give me exactly what you charge.
I don't know.
Figuring it out.
Yeah, everyone's different.
Is it like a percentage based on build
no,
costs?
that doesn't. I don't think that's outdated.
Is it? Yeah, because I remember, what was it? Like people saying like 2 to 10%, or the star architects charge like more than that or something. Does that seem right?
Yeah, that's, I don't know. Maybe some people might still do that. It doesn't work for me.
Yeah.
Or maybe I just don't know what the percent is. But, I mean,
So how did you come up with the pricing initially? I mean, did you just ask your previous employer what they asked?
Yes, like as part of your case study, you have to go understand that. And the project that took me out of Lloyd Hartley was a holiday home for my old man.
Cool.
So I brought that into the office, got it to a point and I've approved building consent. And that was when I shifted back home. And then from there, Studio Brick Architects and Lloyd Hartley Architects kind of tag teamed the construction side of things.
Oh.
So I had, a small level of exposure to pricing then.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And how is it structured? So do you like charge for the concept, then you charge for the construction drawings, and then you charge, how does that, is it like spread out?
So I've got,
like
I'm a registered architect and a member of the NZIA.
Yeah.
And I structure my fees to the NZIA stages, which is project establishment, concept, and then you've got your resource consents in there if needed.
Yeah.
Then you go to develop design, which is essentially getting ready for building consent, and then building consent being your big chunk of fees for me anyway, where it's heads down, bum up, do some drawings, get a consent, and then there's the contract or construction side of things after that as well.
Cool.
Yeah.
Okay. So
so sorry, circling back, most of my fees are tailored to the project based on what I think it'll take.
Yeah.
And I can do fixed or charge out depending on what the client's preference is.
Right. Okay. So depending on, you kind of know like the type of detail that would be involved and like the level of.
Yeah, just take a step in the dark.
Yeah. What would I be
definitely get caught out.
Yeah,
sometimes,
yeah. What am I happy to get out? And sometimes it is a little bit like, just throw it out. What would I be happy to get out of bed for? And what do I think they would be happy to pay? And then that's
totally
sort of like where it just ends up, right? It's no real.
How hungry am I?
Yeah.
Do I have much on? There's all of that I kind of consider as well.
So in terms of the, obviously running the business, you're involved like all the time, right? Because it's your business, your baby, only you, your accountant, which I kind of think is cool. How do you make time for family? You obviously got like a wife and a little boy, right? 4-year-old boy.
Yeah.
It's a cool age, you know what I mean? What have you sort of learned over last 4 years that you could maybe you can give me some advice here on how you kind of navigate the work family life so that everyone's fed?
Yeah, my when I'm working. I don't. Yeah.
You don't like procrastinate? Or?
Yeah, if I procrastinate, I can go down and spend time with them. So I go hard and then I'll go and have a break with them.
Yeah.
My work ethic is good, but my work program would probably be very unconventional. Like sometimes I might get up at 5 and I'm straight in the office for a few hours before my son wakes up, and then I'll do breakfast and daycare drop off, and then I'll have another hit at work. Probably a nap.
Yes.
Pick Will up from daycare, or one of us will, at 3:30ish, and then we get a bit of time in the afternoon. But very rarely will I work that kind of 3:30 to 5:30, 7.
Yeah.
And then do the night shift.
Yeah, and you come back after 7 and
once Will's in bed, whenever that is.
Bang out a few more hours.
Yeah.
You kind of do.
That's when that nap becomes important.
Yeah. Yeah. You kind of need that nap to get you through the evening shift.
Yeah,
that's cool. You kind of like make it work for you, and I think if you're disciplined, then you can really do You can sort of do any structure that works for you, I guess, if you don't procrastinate too much.
Yeah.
I'm bad at procrastinating. Someone said it's a trauma response, because I don't know if you've heard of that before, but because you don't have, I don't know, like there's like a time thing that like gets snapped out of you when you're a kid, when you don't, your parents don't, look after you or whatever. But I don't know. It's kind of my excuse for procrastinating around the office, to be fair.
It's a tough one. There's so many different brains there.
Yes.
But there's none the same.
Yeah.
Mine's fine doing that. Some aren't. And some need help doing that. And if they get help, then they're sweet.
And some people love the sort of, 8 to 5 or 8 to 4, whatever, that sort of structured way. Every day is the same.
Yeah.
And lunch is 12 to 12:30.
So, sometimes lunch is at 8 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah.
You just never know.
I'm like that, The amount of times I've had like 2:30, 3 o'clock, I have my lunch, or sometimes I smash something a bit earlier in the morning or whatever. But so you kind of like, so you make that work for you. And so you kind of like make your work almost work around your family life so that everyone kind of wins, everyone gets a piece.
Yeah. Well, part of wanting to move down back from Auckland to Papamoa was that I was spending all my weekends, particularly a lot of time on a Friday afternoon driving out of Auckland. So moving home meant I could do that hunting and fishing and other stuff that I like a lot more readily and easily. It's way more accessible down there for me anyway.
Yeah.
So there is a lot more of that, but at the same time, I might work all weekend. So it kind of swings both ways.
It's like, it's almost like not just like a time spent, it's almost a mentality though, of like, there's like that thing of like, and I've been trying this to figure this out. Maybe you can provide some insight since you've moved down to a smaller place, but how do you slow your life down a little bit? I've got multiple children and like business and podcast and everyone wants a piece, and like, but I feel like my life's too complicated, too busy, too much stuff going on that can be chipped away, or cut away. But, and I think you've done that, right? You've kind of slowed it down a little bit in mentality so that you're not sort of like go all the time. Or am I right in saying that?
I don't know. I don't, at the moment, because I'm just getting pumped with work. So it's, it's hard getting that balance right, and then I'm too slow, and I'm like stressing about when I'm going to get, if I'm going to meet my next payments, or it's like the start of the year. But there's probably 6 months where I might have invoiced a few grand, and that was super stressful. I was so quiet, and now it's totally the opposite. I'm too busy, and my family's not getting the time that they need and want.
Yeah.
I can kind of like manage that though, because I'm just upstairs, so I walk down and have a cup of tea break or take a lunch break and with Anna and when Will's at daycare and get some time together. But at the same time, doing the night shift every night can be a bit taxing.
Yeah. I'm just trying to figure it out, like all of us.
Yeah.
How do I sort of just simplify my life a lot more? We're about to move away from the office, as I mentioned off air. We're just moving out, shutting the office down and moving into like more of like a shared space with other people around and stuff. So that will have its pros and cons, but it's just like another thing you don't have to manage, another thing you don't have to like, look after. And I think everyone's different, but that sort of simple life is very attractive to me. Like just doesn't mean that you don't go and grow your hair out and walk around on the beach all day and, you know what I mean? Yeah. Smoke weed all day on the beach and just chill. But it
could be for some people, though.
Could be for some, yeah. Someone listening to this going, man, this is what I'm doing. The life. This is the life, dude. But I think there's an element of slowing it down because it's almost like every time I come back into Auckland, because I'll go to Australia or I'll go somewhere. We lived in South Australia for a few years. And I do feel like when I moved back to Auckland, I could feel the rat race energy, where when I was in South Australia, in Adelaide, it's a bit more of like a sleepy city, like a big town, right? More energy.
Yeah.
And and you probably feel that with Papamoa versus Auckland, probably, right? It's like I don't know. Here, I just feel like there's a big rat race energy.
Yeah, but that is for some people.
Yeah, I mean, for some
It's,
people that's exactly what that gives them energy.
Yeah.
I just mean like personally,
I'm the same. I'm still trying to find that balance, but getting out of Auckland was a big one for me.
Yeah, it helped a little bit.
Yeah, a lot.
Yeah.
Probably also coincided with big moves for me professionally. At the same time, more access to the things I love, the hobbies. So it was a bit of a win.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Have you ever struggled with mental health and stuff like depression or any of that sort of stuff? Or, I mean, sometimes it's situational depression, right? Because of the market or things or business, the pressures of business. Have you ever had to gone through tough times through that?
I'm pretty fortunate that I don't. Very fortunate.
Yeah.
Definitely been around it, and I'm just a lucky one that has a brain that is pretty mellow throughout most situations.
Yeah. You just sort of don't get too like massive downs and massive ups.
Yeah.
That's good.
Very,
Yeah.
lucky.
Yeah, and I think it probably helps the fact that I mean, there's both sides. I was going to say the fact you don't have a bunch of staff and you don't have like these overheads and things like that probably helps. But then you got the other pressures of like all the pressures on your shoulders.
It's all on me.
If you don't do it, it doesn't get done. So there's that pressure that comes from that. So you're going to get it either way. It's just about how you manage it, I guess. Is there anything that you do to kind of manage stress well, or that's worked for you?
I do enjoy kind of clocking off fishing or hunting, as we mentioned or talked about earlier. Managing workloads and delivery expectations. In my mind, something's due. If I've been given the okay to carry out a stage of service, in my mind, it's due. And so that's something that I've had to navigate, that my own expectations of when is it okay to deliver it? Has the client said, oh, no rush, but am I rushing it? Particularly now that I'm so busy, I've had two of my biggest projects push go on building consent documentation,
Right.
which is, I don't know, they could be a month, 2 months each, but still have another 10 projects that need attention as well. So it's kind of putting realistic expectations on timeframes and making sure that everyone's aware of that.
Yeah.
Which I struggle with. And then I'm not one to not deliver. So if I've mentioned those timeframes, I'm going to hit them regardless. Like I have to. That's what I've said I'll do, and I'll do it.
Yeah.
Which can be stressful.
The hardest part of like business sometimes is managing expectations, and with us as well, with our clients, like, because people have different idea. You say something, right, and people take that in a different way of we'll get it done right away. Does that mean like this afternoon or next week, or this will be done soon, or, like this will be a quick project. What does a quick project mean? Everyone has like different expectations of what that means, and I guess good communications, like just the best way to solve that, right? It's just constantly explaining to them, hey, this means that I'll actually start this in like 5 weeks. Like I won't be starting this for like 5 weeks.
Yeah.
And then it will be, that sort of thing.
Yeah, I've started saying I'll be able to make a meaningful start on your project on this date. Chances are I'll probably get to it earlier and crack into it.
Yeah.
But from that point in the future is when it'll happen.
Yeah. Write that down, Dan. We'll use that. Meaningful start.
I've also found I kind of catch myself out on. So with my work, I've got levels of priorities. The first priority is people on site. They need that information now. So if a question comes through for that, I'll drop everything and hit that next up would be building consents. If an RFI comes through, I can't sleep until I've gone through it and know that I can answer everything. Even if I haven't done the actual work, I need to know that I can.
Yeah.
Or get it to the people who can. So there's stuff on site, building consents, and then my paid, not my paid work. Ideally, you're getting paid for the rest of it, but often not. My kind of chunks of service for jobs.
Yeah, deadlines.
And then the concept is often at the bottom of that.
Yeah.
As far as priorities. And I can get what might be a week or 2 week concept and say, I should have it in a couple of weeks. By the time you've addressed all of those other priorities throughout a week, it's like, oh, shite, I haven't even started the concept yet. And
Yeah. No, I think this is part of figuring it all out. Before I let you go, because we've literally just gone over an hour already, which is time flies in this room, but what are your favorite architecture terms, when you got your concepts or something, or you got your plans and you're presenting it to the client and you start, those words come out. What are your favorite? I think we've had ones like juxtapositions, popular one, considered, like showed restraint.
Considered a good one, eh?
Yeah, or like the materiality, or the text,
natural materials.
This is not really architectural, but they've got Kevin upstairs. He likes the indoor-outdoor flow. It's kind of like more like a basic.
It's kind of like
version.
real estate, eh?
That's like a real estate.
Gone into
term.
real estate, yeah.
That's like probably like a 30 years ago architecture term, maybe, but maybe not. What's your favorite ones? Because I don't know all of them.
I don't know off the top of my head. I struggle with those, because
the poetry.
And my wife and I are actually talking recently. Like, why don't you just get rid of all of that? Because you're the kind of guy, or me, I'm the kind of guy who goes, this concept's epic. I know it's cool. Like, let's go through it. You ask any questions, and I'm not a big one on talking myself up or selling a project. I struggle with that. And I was like, why don't you just get rid of all of that? Just be real, who you are.
Yeah.
So, yeah, probably, you're right. But I don't talk too much shit about that. I don't talk too much stuff about the cliches or the puns or whatever they are.
Yeah, it's like poetry. You got to because you watch like an episode of like a local project or something, and then just the poetry that pulls out,
Yeah, but you said poetry. I often find with architectural writing it can be quite repetitive with those as well. And one of the jobs, our Hill to Horizon House job that I did with Ben and Mike, I wrote a poem for it.
Here we go.
Yeah.
So you can do
it. Yeah, well, it took a while. I was just pulled it out of the hat. It was a pretty cool poem, and that I didn't need to use all of those cliches that you often see, the indoor-outdoor flow.
Yeah.
It's just a poem that was quite fun and creative and unique. And
yeah.
Well, I think this is like a good chat. I think we showed restraint in our conversation. And I really appreciate you coming on. You drove like 3.5 hours or something up from Papamoa up to Auckland. So it's not a small feat. So you're going to have to go all the way back as well. No helicopter this time around. So, Jeremy, I really appreciate you coming on. And it's always interesting for me to kind of have different chats with people with different point of views on things. And this is kind of one of those on some of those topics as well. So cheers.
Yeah, no problem. It's cool to come up, and great chat.
Cool, man. Awesome.
Thank you.
That's it for today's episode, and thanks again to Forte for making this week's episode possible. If you're after timber surfaces that don't just look beautiful but are built to endure, Forte is leading the way with a focus on sustainability and craftsmanship and unparalleled performance. They're helping bring ambitious projects to life across interiors and exteriors.